Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sonam Ki Drola Venchir Sangye Drupar Shog Sangye Chudang Soki Chognam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sonam Ki Drola Venchir Sangye Drupar Shok Sangye Chudang Soki Chognam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sonam Ki Drola Venchir Sangye Drupar Shok. Okay.
Kill him.
Alright, they'll be alright. This was hard. Anyway, I just had a hard time getting homework questions, and you will pay the price. What position is being refuted by the assertion of Master Shantarakshita that impurities in the mind are temporary? And they give the unique Tibetan word here being used for temporary.
Oh, well, the position.
It's refuting the position that the human mind cannot be perfected.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll way accept that. What is the weird Tibetan word?
Oh, Chelki Chulba?
No.
No, it's pretty weird.
For temporary?
Yeah, adventitious is how we're not
adventitious.
translating it.
Adventitious.
Yeah, it's adventitious.
I'm trying temporary here, you
Yeah,
see.
get.
I had it on my quiz. But
I felt like someone just made that noise.
Lopwood.
Yeah, look at you, smarty pants. Yeah, Lopwood. Wow, nice.
Who Lopwood? Gibson
Lopwood. Yeah, pretty good. I thought I heard it muttered somewhere in the back of the room. He didn't want to make us look bad.
Thanks, Gibson.
What does Master Shantarakshita, he's the star of this show, say will happen when the mind gets near the antidote to impurity? And what Tibetan metaphor does he, in Tibetan, what metaphor does he use?
They will be removed?
It's near the antidote to impurity.
Yeah, when the mind gets near the antidote to impurity. We didn't cover a lot of stuff, but this did happen. This was one of the things we covered.
Near.
Yeah. Sounds so vaguely familiar.
What do you think? What happens when the mind gets near to an antidote to a thing that's wrong with the mind?
It starts clearing them.
Starts clearing them of what?
The impurities.
The impurities. Give me some Tibetan words for impurity.
Sakche?
What were we using instead in this context?
Wisdom.
No.
Not sakches, but
Streamas?
No more?
Nyan and Shay. Yeah.
Oh, Nyan, Drip, and Shay.
What about the drips? Which is cute. Something happens to the drips, which is cute. It's a cute thing to happen.
They drip away.
They kind of.
Decrease.
Possible to block them.
Yeah, right. Possible to block what?
The Nyan drips.
Possible to block the blocks.
Oh, right, drip the drips.
Yeah, the drips. It is cute.
Yeah.
Metaphor, a very Sedona, airy kind of metaphor that we might hear about revealing the true nature of the mind.
Was the jumping in the air?
We'll get there. Forgive us, we'll get there. Sometimes gets erroneously applied to Buddha nature.
Right, yeah.
Right, that we're already perfect?
Yeah, that we're
like,
just uncovering our perfection.
Yeah, like
purity.
Like
Talking out on the silver then.
yeah, like patina on
nice.
silver, or in this case,
Gold.
Right, the new word that Nick learned.
Riches.
See? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't...
Dross.
Dross.
Oh, dross is the English,
Dross.
but Tibetan is
Dross.
yeah.
Learned not that very well.
Because I rewatched the video and you said I'd never heard that word.
hadn't.
Okay.
Still
Okay.
haven't,
Yeah.
I guess.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
But wasn't Yad like rust or something?
Well, here it was Sergijima. I'm relatively confident.
Okay.
Because I wrote it.
I know what word you're talking about.
Yeah, that was
It might
like...
have been a different text.
Okay, cool.
Give two metaphors. Okay, here we go. Supplied by an opponent, meant to deny a, thanks. A sort of stability to wisdom which would allow it to grow to perfection. Oh boy. down in Master Shankar Shida's collection on suchness. Yeah, wisdom isn't stable enough that you could grow it to perfection, just like you can't.
Jump.
Jump in the, jump from the air.
Jump from the
Yeah,
apex.
from in the air to in the air. Right, you can't jump up and then use the where you are to jump back up. What else?
What do you want to do?
Yeah, you can't boil what kind of water?
Boiling water.
Right, you can't heat boiling water.
Physically.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right.
You can, but it'll just evaporate.
You can't
Yeah.
bring it high.
We, I don't know, anything in Tibetan for that? I mean,
Yeah.
I was struggling, so I put it up there.
Chongpa Dong,
Yes,
Chu Yi
Chong
Tro
Dong
Wa.
Chu Yi Tro Wa Yi. Very nice, dude. Cool. And then, Lama, I would be done, but I have a couple questions for you.
Wait, I'm studying your text.
That's fine. That's where we're going from here. But there are
Well,
a
we
couple
could
things-
if I get time.
Well, there are a couple things
What's the
within there we have to. So one, I wanted to just there were some footnote things like we didn't let me show you what I did with a footnote,
Okay.
for example. Okay, because we were going to talk about here. Let me blow this up a whole bunch. Yeah. So how we're gonna do this, and I'm still fuzzy on. So here's an example.
I like it like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down here for a footnote.
Wait, why is some of it is bolded and not?
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Well, I don't know how much. Maybe I don't need to do that. You see?
I don't
but-
think you have to do it in the English.
Okay, I won't.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I won't do it in the English.
I don't think you even have to bold the addition as long as it's in square braces.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it will look better on paper if it ever makes it. to
So
paper.
something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. And then the footnote, Joni Lama has provided a small portion of this quotation, which we have expanded upon in braces. In
Yeah, and on the first occurrence of such a quotation, I would say that's what we're going to do in the following
Okay.
100
Okay.
pages also.
Okay. All right. I'll write a note.
Because you don't want to keep
about that,
repeating that, you know,
Right.
we're filling in the
as
rest.
we
Just
will
make it clear that.
do in. following.
Basically, go for shlokas. Go for full verses.
Don't forget a period at the end of your footnote.
Thank you. This is pre-edited. Oh, whoops! There's that again.
Yeah, I would put that in the text.
Okay, then.
The cat and the boy.
Okay, deal. Yeah, I think that's the best. Let me. Okay, and then I had one we were going to discuss more. We had this footnote. Oh, yeah, and so on this same question, we were going to come back, and I didn't know if you had come back, but we usually only go forward, but we didn't come up yet with the logic of why, and so it is possible to clearly see.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know if you
Let me
worked
do it for
backwards on
next
that
time.
yet.
I did
okay.
not work backwards.
Okay.
But let me make myself a note for next time.
Okay. You probably have a note right there for next time. It may not have functioned, but you have a quadruple dollar sign.
Okay.
You see it. Maybe you need $5 signs there instead of 4.
Here, let's do a cute thing.
Totally.
Can we get copies of whatever it is you're working on again?
It's just my working text.
Do the Dana.
Okay.
How's that? Look,
Do-
I'm gonna change
do
the
the
file
Dana?
name.
Oh, here you're still.
I
in
changed
the-
the file name to Do Not Do the Dana.
Okay, and then I
Maybe
had,
I'll notice it.
this.
You need the text, right? 2 texts.
Okay, no, I had a disaster with this thing because the last one that we did. I mean, this footnote is a nightmare. I mean, just, of course, there's a parent in there. But right, the jumping up and boiling water. You know, at this point, we're like, while this
Yeah.
quotation is.
By the way, full justification.
Oh, thank you. I promise I'd have done that at the end, probably. I promise it's likely I would have. It's kind of a mess at the moment. We haven't answered exactly what it means because he hasn't contradicted it. So we have like, while this quotation is found here in the Tattva Sangraha, whoops, don't believe we, okay, it seems to be taken.
No, I would say it was based on.
Right, while it's found there, which is what he says it's in, okay?
Yeah.
Because he says he's quoting it, but it seems to be taken from the
You
commentary.
check if the wording's exactly the same. I don't think it is. You know, I think he's just it's a lineage. So,
Okay.
I believe you know, the content is taken from the.
But the explanation that we found on it was based on its explanation in the Promenade of Arctica.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, that's true, and I don't mind that. I think it's the same.
So, you see my problem. Like, I'm like, at the moment I'm saying, while this is found, okay, here in the collection of suchness,
Mhm.
it seems to be taken from the Commentary on Valid Perception. You find the lines explained, okay, by Chijing Hao and Peldon here,
Mhm.
okay, where he's disputing the opponent's assertion that, like, but we don't really find that. Like, all we've looked at so far was that some opponent is saying you can't because it would be like jumping into the air.
That's okay. It's not a bad footnote.
But it hasn't. We have no disputation of it, and supposedly the lines are meant to prove that enlightenment is
Oh
not
no,
like that.
that's a good point. Now, to answer your point, which is a good point, and I had the same problem when I went through it, it only states the opponent's position.
So what
Yeah, the
heck
whole
is jumping
verse
on the door?
only states the opponent's position.
Right.
It would be like jumping from a jump. It
Right.
would be like reboiling what's boiling.
So he's
know.
trying to reinforce the opponent's position.
He's trying to say, and then there's one footnote there, which is one section there, which is totally clear, and you should go there. To wrap up your footnote, you should go there.
Okay, are we
so
gonna do that?
I think we did, but I don't mind to do it again. Or I don't mind to show you where it is. I'll show you where it is.
Okay.
There's
you
one
take-
that tells the punchline.
Okay.
There's only one that tells the punchline. There's
One quotation.
yeah, I got 6-7 pages of quotations there.
Wow.
There's only one that tells the punchline.
And I mean, I have to include that somehow in the footnote. To make
I
this
would, just
complete.
because footnotes should end on a happy note.
And this is supposed to be the section in which we're disputing positions like this one that we just set
Yeah,
forth for the
but
sake of the
unfortunately it just gives the
Right.
position. It doesn't
Which is
refute it.
Not the section.
But
of the
he's
text we're in.
implying there's an answer to this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You take the plane.
But it's a good point. Yeah, let me go there. Okay, I'm sending Ben and Nick's text to the authorities.
Uh-oh.
I held them so I could work on them in the car.
Okay.
And I got some more stuff in the car.
Thank you.
Due to Jigme's kindness of driving me in the car. Which I really appreciate. Uncountable things have been translated in her car. Later they're going to take the wheels off and people are going to circumambulate in. We good? Thank you for doing it. There's like 7 pages of notes on that stupid
You still have
quotation.
to take the plane.
Oh, I gotta take the plane. So, I'll go.
I thought we did the punchline.
I think we did, but let's just nail it down. I'll show you, I'll put some dollar signs where the punchline or the punchline. These are all notes on that one quotation. It didn't help that it was misspelled from the beginning. Did Commander Foley hear this one?
Last he was here, we could talk about it again if you'd like.
Oh, you heard this about jumping and jumping? And,
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just thought it'd be a good way to spend 10 minutes.
Did it?
Okay, these are all notes on that guy. By the way, when I find a really good note, I try to put it just after the quotation so you don't have to go through everything.
Yeah, I like it.
This is how much it took to learn these 2 lines. Here it is. Okay, now. Yeah, here's the punchline. So I put it right under the.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Changyaro Pedorji Sauri. This is a book that would take him 20 years to translate that I'm trying to talk him into. But I'm not sure myself. Do you want to read this now?
I'm happy to.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Because this, after searching through many texts, I found this one, and this is a great one. And this is from Chankyoropa Dorjes. He's famous as being the teacher of the Emperor of China. Okay.
Nonjale, gomle,
Gong.
gomle, kepar, gyurna, yang, chongdang, che yi, tru, shindu, rangshin, lende, min, she, na, she, pe, dun, ni, tse, wa, tang, sherab, la, sokpa, gompar.
Wait. Yeah, let's do this much.
Okay,
And I have not cleaned up the formatting, because when I'm in a rush, I can't.
it's okay.
So, Namdele.
From the Common of Artica.
Yeah, good. Komle. Kombe.
Taking a step.
If you really practice them repeatedly,
Yeah.
if you really devote some time to practicing them, he doesn't say what, okay? Kipagir,
You can develop
you'll
qualities.
get some changes.
Okay.
You'll get some changes.
Get special.
Yang,
Oh, difference.
Alright.
Yan,
but it'll be just like Chong and Chu.
jumping and boiling.
Yeah, it'll be like trying to jump further after you already reached the apex of your jump. Somehow it might be good to throw in apex. It's like jumping from the apex. It has to imply a straight up jumping. When I first worked on it, I was trying to find a jumping across something, and I couldn't understand it. But he's talking about jumping straight up. So the translation should say jumping straight up or something, okay? When you jump straight up, you can't use that as a platform from which to go higher. You will always fall back down. And heat imparted to water cannot be increased. Now, different people have read that different ways. In a simple way, you could say you can boil water, but it's just going to get cool again. It's just going to get cool again, okay? You can do things to affect your mental state, but it will return to normal. So, you know, but more sophisticated commentators have said, oh, you know, you'll just boil it away or something like that.
I mean, could we also say, does anyone say, like, you could jump, but you're going to come back down?
That's part of his point, too. That's implied
Right.
in his criticism.
Right.
That's why a good way to take the water might be just it's going to cool back down. And one commentator says it takes a lot of effort in fuel to boil water,
Yeah.
but you can't keep it there. If you turn off the fire, it's going to come back. So that might be an easier way of presenting it. But it's kind of sexy to present the other one where you boil the water away and you get into their position of destroying the brain when you cut out the tumor.
Yeah.
The tumor is endemic, right? Endemic's not bad. Anyway, that's the opposite of Lobor. That's the opposite of Gibson's Lobor. Loborwa, by the way. Loborwa. Okay. Anyway, Chongdang Chui, like jumping, like the heating water, it Rangshin Len De, Mayan.
It can't be gone beyond.
You can't go beyond the nature of the mind. The mind has limitations. That's what it means. You can't go beyond the nature of the mind. You're not going to change the basic nature of the mind. It will fall back to where it was. Okay? And now, here's the Shepe Dunni. Now, who's the commentator? Oh, yeah, Chankya. He's gonna... Just having fun. No one has done a good translation. There's been a bad translation, which almost gets me to want to do it more. You know? Okay, anyway, here's the punchline. Here's the long-awaited punchline. Go ahead.
Okay.
And I don't want to hear gom.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay. Sewa dong sherab.
Here it comes.
Sopa kom. Shepa le chung se kepar dun gyurna. Yang se chengi. Rangshin len de ne. Tame du pelwar. Cure wa. Minte.
Let's stop there. Okay, we can cut it there. Now, here's who's doing the jumping.
Okay.
Sewa and Shirab.
Love and wisdom,
Yeah, love and wisdom.
etc.
You can take good qualities like love and wisdom, etc., and you can come.
Used to them.
You can,
Keep it-
you know,
doing it
practice
all
them over and over and over, And from that effort, they,
little difference, a little bit.
yeah, you'll get a little bit different. You'll change a little bit.
You'll get it.
But it has a limit. Sechen. It has a limit.
As a measure.
And the nature of the mind. He doesn't just say it has a limit. He says it's the nature of the mind that it can't be pushed beyond a certain point. Okay, yeah, that's the nature of the mind, and it's tempting to think that those of us who've tried to improve ourselves over, over the last 40 years, it seems like it's Seichen ne Deba Mepa. Okay, you can get to a certain point, and then you always seem to collapse. Okay, Seichen ki Rangshin ne Dene.
Week 2.
And then he says, it is not Tame Dupewa.
Limitless thing.
Yeah, infinitely is great. It cannot improve infinitely, not possible. Okay, say again.
Or increase?
I would say improve,
Okay.
or you can say increase in its quality or something, but it just means it can't improve. What do you call it? Indefinitely. There's a limit to how much you can change the human mind. Okay. Berna, keep going.
Chompa gompe chungse kepar du gyur yang ta me tu mi pelwa tong.
To be honest, he takes it in a whole different way. I think you can have fun with this. I mean, if you really tried to read all the commentators, what he's saying is, what do you call those guys? High jumpers.
Okay. That's
Yeah, I mean, a world-class high jumper may go another half inch
All right.
or another inch, but
Practice.
how much more can you go? Okay. Bernard Chomba Kombe, you can get used to jumping, but it ain't gonna change much how high you can jump.
Right. Yeah.
You can practice jumping all day, and maybe you add another 2 inches.
You're never gonna jump buildings.
So, but other people have taken it differently.
Yes.
Okay.
But it might. Yeah. Right.
You can, but you're not gonna go clear gravity, 65,000 feet. You're not gonna break out of the Earth's gravity. Tamedu means, you're not gonna jump to the moon.
Right.
Tame means there's a limit on how high a human being can jump,
Practice as much as you want.
and it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's probably closer to what they mean.
It's easier.
But the other guys get more sexy, and they kind of make it more.
Okay. So I have a question when you get there about that.
You want to go ahead?
Okay. Chui je chung se kepar dung gyur yang tar mar har war gyur wa min ba shinduo shena. If you want.
Yeah, this is an
say.
interesting one. He's actually changing both points. Okay.
Cool.
Chui chu.
Boiling water. a little
This
bit.
chu means warmth. Okay, the heat of water. Okay.
Okay. Oh, the heat of
Chung
water.
se
Little
kepa
bitty.
te gyur. You can change the heat of water, but it's never gonna. What do you call it when you get iron? It's never gonna be red hot.
Oh,
Okay, tarmar. Yeah, yeah. It's never gonna be red hot.
That's
You can keep boiling and boiling and boiling. It's never gonna get red hot like steel. Okay, this is this commentator, Chankya.
Shinduo.
Okay, in the end, it's never gonna get red blazing. Okay, Gyuamin Shindua. It's like that.
Yeah. It's never gonna glow.
This is Chankya's
Very
version.
cute.
It is cute. Now, here's the very, very crucial
Yeah.
sentence, and you tell me why.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Shit. Well,
And then all your questions are answered. We can almost go on, but we'll do a little more.
Position.
What?
The reputation of that
it
position.
came before. We
Uh-uh.
already. No.
What does this say?
It's
Tsupa. Isn't that the
about them.
This is the
An
argument
earlier
that Master
position?
Dignaga relied on?
I'll give you the answer for free. Nargo.
Oh,
Oh.
this is the debaters. Novel.
Yeah, this is the other guy.
Right.
Chankya says, you see, he says it looks like a verse, it looks like it's in our book,
Right.
it looks like it might be our position, but this is the other guy.
Oh, this is the other.
Yeah, you see, Chok Nga means Ngago.
Yeah.
This is the Ngago. This is the other guy.
Well, usually Novel is our
Tsupa.
guy. Yeah. The other
No.
guys.
Well, no, not in this kind of debate. This is the Chong'e, because then we're gonna address it.
Right.
So he started. So sometimes he can be the Ngongo. Who started? Who started the argument? This is a debate you have in your home. Okay, yeah. Anyway, this is just the guy initiating an argument. Okay, that's the point.
Okay.
The point is, don't think this is our position, it's somebody else's position.
So there was some lack of clarity even in the formative article. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's gonna, if you want to, let's go a little more here.
Well, this is what the part that I need. We just got there, right? Like, don't I need to answer that?
Let's see if he does. Yeah, he does. He does. He's gonna answer it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And I'll stop you when I want to split it somewhere. Let me see.
Chongpa dang chui chula.
I'm gonna split it here, buddy.
Daki kie par ten ba hang betsu gyarma pa shikla mi te bar kombe rit cha ngama le chima kie par dung gyurwa nima tsangwe ta medu helwa minda.
Okay, good. Yeah.
How are?
Hey, let me think about this. Okay, let's just do the pieces. Chongba, jumping, and the warmth of water. Chitu la. There's something wrong there.
Permanent change? Like you can't.
No, it's you never say talk by itself.
Right.
I think it's 10.
I just said that in the explanation about
Oh, I don't have it. I don't know where I'm looking.
Something's wrong here. Okay, this is wrong somehow. Okay. And there will be multiple editions in TBRC because it's very famous. The book is very famous. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's clear what it means. It is not temba, not misspelled.
A stable basis.
Yeah, good. A stable place from which to make further progress. You can't jump when you're at the apex of a jump, and you can't reboil the water when you boil it. So really the later commentators are okay. They're covered here. Okay. The word temba comes in almost all the commentaries.
Okay.
It's not a good place from which to make further progress. Okay. Temba dang. Betzel means it's an idiom for efforts. Okay, betzel. And tsul has many, many beautiful meanings, and we don't have to cover them today. So betzel means efforts. Kyarma is one word. It's not negative. Okay, it's kyarma. Kyarma means repeated.
Okay.
Like in colloquial Tibetan, yangyar korana labin. I told him again and again. So it becomes yangyar. Bashik, only that, right? Shopping. Only that. So bashik means only that. Every time I get to bashik, I'm going to refer to your text because you are struggling through 180 nuns' vows, which are called bashikpas. One and onlys. Okay, onlys. Okay, here it means
Strong again and again.
if you only rely on repeated efforts, okay,
Need to
nami tupar.
just rely on that.
I haven't come comfortable with this sentence. Anyway, mitupa without relying on them. Kombe.
Habituate.
If you habituate yourself to those without relying on repeated efforts, it doesn't make much sense to me. Ringda ngama le chima kipadu gyawani matsangwe. You're not going to have this correlation between repeated previous efforts and later repeated differences.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any repeat of the original improvement in performance, which is totally against John Foley's system. Okay, so there's going to be a limit to the performance, and that's what he that's his whole shtick, is that there's no limit to the se. It's tame. It's not sechen. There's no limit to performance. You can go to 18 inches from a mile and a half.
Could Toba be regardless of or despite? Doing
It could be
over and over?
despite. It could be despite. It would be unusual, but it has to be something like that, or else there's something wrong with the text. Okay, the meaning is clear. He claims there cannot be continual improvement. It's not possible. Okay, to gyurwa ni matsangwe. Matsang means
Not complete.
yeah, you don't have these two factors of repeated earlier efforts and repeated later improvements.
Okay.
These two are incomplete.
Yeah.
Therefore, tamedu pawa mayin.
So it's not true that you can
Yeah, therefore you cannot have
increase things limitlessly.
you cannot have
Limitless growth.
infinite, limitless growth. There's a limit to the growth, okay? There's a cap. Say Chen, there's a cap on the growth. Okay, there's only so far.
Shut up, on the other hand.
Now, here's Rang Luk. You've been asking
Thank
for
God.
Rang Luk.
The merciful heaven.
Let me.
By the way, that's probably enough that I could change that footnote to go to talk about, to reference Chankya directly instead of going to Chujing Owen Peldon's commentary on Chankya now. Well, we'll see what happens here, I guess.
Bet you're right.
I don't like that look in your eye.
I want to go this far.
Okay. Then,
By the way, he stops. Well, he kind of stops here. I think. I want you to have the whole thing in your head.
I'll do two.
Okay. We're gonna cut it here. Okay, go ahead.
Sewa don shut up so komba.
Huh?
Gomba la
Mm.
de tsangwe mi tsumbar dumba la.
Wait. Let's do that much.
Okay. Love and wisdom and the like, getting used to those completely. When you do that, it's in line with the teaching? Well, the way we were talking?
No, mitsum.
Me too. Oh, it's not?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not like they taught. It's
Yeah,
not like
this
the
ain't the
church
same
taught.
thing.
Yeah.
When you're talking love and compassion, it's not like you're jumping in water.
Is Tumba as in
Okay,
like those church taught?
Like who taught?
Kachi. I mean, basically the.
We're saying it's different when you're talking about love and compassion.
But he uses.
I
Tun, which
agree.
is almost
It's a Mayinga.
Okay.
I agree with jumping straight up. You're right. I agree with boiling water. You're right. But when you get to love and wisdom, your theory breaks down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
it's-
Tumba is almost a surprising word to use.
no. Oh, this stunba
Yeah.
is a predictive stumba. I'm about to tell you why they're not equal. Okay, tumba means let's show this guy, tun, why it's not the same with love and compassion. And then he's introducing another verse.
Wow.
Okay,
So it's all in the
so the following verse is the chigo, which in this case is us. Okay.
Because the next line starts with J. Like, how do you?
Yeah,
find-
oftentimes
Yeah.
when you introduce a root text,
Yeah.
you say,
Tumba.
in order to give them an answer, here comes the next verse. It's a prelude
Okay.
to the next verse.
Cool.
He says, now somebody's got to show these guys that it's not the same as jumping in water when you're talking about love and wisdom. Now, to do that, and then dot, 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 and then bana,
Are these
here's the
next words
verse.
in Namdra, do you think?
I've assumed so maybe we do them, right?
Okay, cool.
And I'll make them pretty for you, okay?
Okay. Jete kelte laryangni betsolani tugyuram. Tenmi temba ni gyurna kepardak ni mi pelna. Rangshin dega mayinte shesok sumte. But it's root text, so then you have to explain it.
Yeah, I think I got it, okay? having said that, I will preface my remarks with don't try to go after these verses without a commentary. You will mess up. You know, jump in hot water. You know. No, I mean that's an obvious one. But there's other ones that look like they mean something and they don't. So you always got to go to a commentary, and that's why we're going to slow down. You don't get much Dr. Wu credit during this term. You know, we got 2-liner quotations or 1-liner quotations, and then we got 6 pages of explanation. And we don't get credit. He doesn't get a thicker book. Okay? Okay. But he's intelligent enough to know that's not the goal. Okay, now, this is nasty, and this is allowed. Okay, na means serna. Okay, there's no ser. He didn't have room for it.
Okay, that's fine.
It's if blah 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 blah, which means if you say blah 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 blah. But how do we know? You have to figure it out from the context. Okay, so this is a 5-line stanza, which is unusual.
Also, yeah.
And 4 of the lines are the other guy still talking. He's still going on. He's still rambling on. And then all we say at the end is Rangshin, Semki Rangshin, Dinda Mayin.
Like that. Yeah.
Hey,
It doesn't have nature like that.
that's not the nature of our mind according to us. Okay, that's all. Then we start our argument. Then we start our defense.
Okay.
But we start out by saying it ain't the same. That's not the nature of mind. You can say Rangshin Le Depa Mayin. You can say you can't go beyond the natural limitations of the mind, but we deny those limitations. Okay, we deny that the mind is like that. Okay, that's all. And in the rest of the chapters, going to be some defense of the mind. Okay, but here's enough to stop uncomfortably, because even he stops on it, because he finishes with, if you want to know more, go to the 2nd chapter of the Pramana Vartika. Okay, which means he's letting it go, and he's moving on. So maybe it gives us a
translated of that currently.
yeah, that's a book he wants to translate. Okay. Okay, so try to struggle with this.
Okay. Well.
Chete, kelte.
Like if you say that it works like that.
Yeah, if you say, Laryang means again and again.
Yeah.
Betsu.
Make efforts.
Yeah, that trying to get, you can't rely on, relying on trying to make efforts by doing that. Den mi den, is not, it's not a.
Hang on, do you mind if I go up?
I don't know. Oh, you're seeing if this helps with this.
Wow, there's the problem.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
Lucky he's glossing the root text.
Yeah. If the lower one is not mistaken.
Right.
So somebody can look that up in the Tengyur. Take a piece of this guy and look him up in the Tengyur. Take any piece. Take a unique piece, right? Don't look for and in 10,000 books.
Yeah.
Look for something weird. Yeah, okay. Chete, yeah, people say that. Chete means, yeah, they say that. Meaning, they say, okay, now he's going to summarize their argument. This is not us yet. If you say that it would have to depend on repeated efforts, now that makes more sense.
Right.
If you say it would have to depend on repeated efforts, or ram,
or
that
not a stable base.
the jumping off place is itself not an appropriate. It's not stable.
Right.
It's not stable. Okay.
Not a baseable base.
Nigirna, and therefore you don't get much differences. Okay. In the way and the result.
Can't increase.
If you say that, hey, that's not the nature of the mind that we're talking about. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Can we go on?
Yes,
All right.
our answer is we don't agree to that it's like that.
We disagree that there are limitations to the human mind.
Okay.
Seichen. I like the Seichen, and what was the opposite?
Where's the Seichen?
Up above. Limited.
Mitar?
Tame.
Tame, yeah. I love that. If I'm going to write the footnote, I would hang on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would jump out of the plane after that. I'd go on to the next thing. I'd say one school believes that the human mind is limited. The other school says that the human mind is
Okay.
infinite capacity,
Okay.
and that's all.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
Brahmanavartika, it's got Mitepa.
Oh no.
It's a la Mitepa. Kurt hits it twice in Brahmanavartika.
That's unfortunate.
But let me see. The knee comes up a few times in the Tangra too. Let me just. In the same sentence. Also in.
I mean, you can twist it to that.
It still means that somehow.
It still means that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes up 2 and 3 times in the same.
Whatever it says, it's.
What do you do if there's a equal frequency between two readings of this text?
Pick the one that you
You
philosophically
see how
know
other
has to
people
be right.
commented upon it. You can see what makes the most sense. Whichever one you like.
Check a scan.
Whichever one the option.
There's a Sanskrit.
Oh, look at the
Hey.
Sanskrit.
Yeah. There's a Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Okay, so whereas the Tibet, we have it.
We do have it.
And I'm sure Christina Kaska is going to find it for you.
No, the Sanskrit. We have it in the Tibetan.
That'd be fun.
Pramana Vartika.
You might not have this folder though.
Okay?
I'll send it to you.
Do you want to, just for fun while we're sitting here looking at this verse, do you want to throw us out a few key Sanskrit phrases to look for?
Mhm.
That would be the thing to do here.
Exactly. That was my first thoughts. Svabhava for Rangshin.
Okay.
Svabhava. But there's going to be a lot of Rangshins in the Pramana Vartika.
Betcha.
So maybe different words for Betzel. Look up Betzel and Chandra, which is an unusual word for effort.
Okay, that's.
So whatever the Sanskrit is in Lokesh Chandra may well be unique in the Pramana Vartika.
Something
Okay.
like
Where do I get that
Salamba
Sanskrit?
I'm looking at it right now.
Nalamba or something?
Well, the problem is that there's nothing else very unique in this verse.
Right.
All the other words are pretty common.
Okay.
The Betzel is a low frequency word,
Okay.
and that's all I can say.
Okay.
You can go through all the Svabhavas. There's probably 100,
Yeah, right.
you know,
Kiepar.
and you have a clue from him.
I've got Brahmanavartika Sanskrit ready to be searched.
Okay.
You have a clue from him at the bottom of the page here.
Oh, hey, all right. It's in the chapter.
Two.
Chapter 2?
Yeah, he says
Which
you.
He did call it 2 instead of calling it the chapter on.
Yeah, he did.
So he came
Yeah,
down on the
so
side
he's
of
like,
wherever it goes in.
you can learn more from the second chapter.
Okay.
You could confirm in the Tibetan that it's the second chapter.
Right. And so it's going to be like Svabhava on a line near Vishesha, on a line near like Alamba and without Alamba.
No, this is not BRTEN. This is BRTAN. This is a strong alambana.
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 Alambana. Well,
Alambana.
it's like Alambana, right? Like it's like a
Maybe, but it's probably a stira,
Okay.
firm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so maybe it's alambana stira.
Okay.
But good luck. But I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I would look
Right,
for.
right, right.
I would look for Svabhava.
I got Svabhava 64 times.
Yeah, there you go.
No. I'm
No,
just
we're only
looking
looking
at
at
the
the
whole
second chapter.
document.
You guys play with it.
We're gonna do.
Use the human dictionary.
We're gonna do.
Everyone split up the
Ayasa.
Pramana Vartika in the same way?
No,
Say again.
Did everyone split up
Yeah.
the Pramana Vartika
No,
into chapters
they
in the
did
same
not.
way?
specifically did not.
So I wouldn't limit myself to the second chapter.
Oh, here, I think I found something.
Yeah.
Ah.
You might look up stira.
Visheshas, yes, Svabhava.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hold on. Alright. Visheshas, yes, Svabhava. Verdhavapyahito.
No, but now you'd be on the next line already.
Nope, that's the same line.
Or, I don't think so.
Yeah, that is this. It's the correct one. This is it.
So should I read the
Because
whole line?
verdam means to pelwa, to increase, like verdi.
Verdhavapyahito
But right before that.
yada napeksheta punaryatnam yatno nyas
Yatna is betzel.
Yeah.
It's right after that.
Yeah. Oh. Yat no nya siad.
Nia.
Yeah.
It's a negative.
It's me.
Oh, so it's me.
It is me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not me.
exciting.
Yeah.
What was the full word?
Nia something. Niacito.
Sorry. Yat no nya siad vishe.
Yeah. The as, the ni connects to as, which is related to the English as, because you sit on it. Asana, seat.
Or is? It
It's
is.
not one of those colons after the nya.
Yeah, ha, rough breathing.
Sarga?
Send you
Yeah,
that.
beside
that.
it.
Sure.
Yeah, so it means not.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Really
It should have been me. And we have to adjust our reading. And it didn't save us like we thought it would.
Visheshasya.
I think what he's saying is since he says we can't, there's no one breakthrough you can have. You have to keep doing it over and over again, or it's going to fall back to where it was. That's what he's saying. If it doesn't, if you don't rely on repeated efforts, it's going to fall back to its natural state.
Right.
He's advocating a natural state of the mind.
And this is probably awkwardly phrased because he's glossing the root text.
That's true too, but it's clear now that he's saying without repeated efforts, it would fall back to its natural state.
So, Mr. Fuller,
Therefore, you
after all.
therefore you cannot fix the mind. And then you'd have to have an argument about why you can't make repeated efforts.
So can you frame this argument in nominal versus ultimate? So nominally you can say, oh sure, you can't jump on. Whereas
Yeah,
ultimately you
if things are not coming from your seeds,
can't.
they cannot be improved infinitely. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you cannot eliminate an addiction if it's not coming from your seeds.
It's just the way
Okay.
it is.
Yeah. Let's do at least one new thing today.
We have 7 minutes. So it's
Holy
plenty of
God.
time.
No, but my assertion is that it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm saying, we got plenty.
I think any time we have a small feeling that something's not quite right, we should stop. It's like taking off in your F-16 and knowing there's a little bug in it. You know, you
That's
probably
one of those
shouldn't.
very first
You
ones.
shouldn't if you're going to fly at
Full
some
of
other
bugs.
guy at a closing speed of 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah. If there's a little bug, you should probably not take off.
Right.
No, you should probably fix it before you take off.
Which is why you just fly an F-18.
Really super quick story. I was going to take off on the runway and I got clearance and something was not feeling right. The little hairs are standing up, so something like that. I'm going. And what happened is I got there early and they wouldn't let me take off, so I had cracked the canopy to get some air in there. But
Oh.
I already done my checklist, you know, so now I'm ready to take off. The controller goes, you know, shooter 201, can you accept an immediate takeoff? So there's all this rush, you gotta get this done, you gotta get this done. I'm like, oh yeah. I taxi out and I'm just little hairs standing up going, something's wrong. And I start to run them up and I did what you just said. I pulled them back. I said, man, I gotta trust my instincts. So I say, I can't take off. They're all mad at me. I taxi off the runway. I'm going, what the heck was all that about? So I went back to my basics, which is go to your checklist. I went through my checklist. My canopy light, which was standing right here, was on, meaning I had cracked my canopy. It was right in front of my face. I didn't see it. If I had taken off, the canopy would have blown off the jet. And I would have been convertible. You know, and then I went,
A car that the roof goes down.
well, yeah, maybe land in someone's swimming pool too. I guess trust your instinct.
Oh, I got a blue angel in my swimming pool. That happened in Date with an Angel.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good movie.
Damn. Okay, go. Wait. What time we stop?
25.
Oh, 5 more minutes. Go, go.
소당 대니 텔왈 겨와웨나 푸총 셴양 똑방겨.
Dokbangyer. Dokbangyer. Okay, let's go to the commentator.
Further.
Well, let's just read the line and then. No, we have 5 minutes.
Just go straight at it, man. Let's go.
Uh,
Oh God! Look at the name of that book. It's worse than German.
Hang on, tell me here we know.
It's a big word. It's a big word. How about a line break every now and then?
Yeah, this'll be enough for you.
Is this the auto commentary?
No, that is the root text.
Okay.
That's Baba Vika, right?
Okay.
I think. I always get them confused.
Shantar Akshita first.
Oh, I did get them confused. Okay.
Okay.
Well, here's a short one for you. Okay. I'm just gonna read it. Okay. Kange Riche Sok Shepar, whosoever understands the Vedas, okay, they will see heaven, okay, etc. directly, okay. Unkyang, by this is Hindus talking to Buddhists, but well, hang on, but the case with love and compassion is that only if you repeatedly practice them will you see any increase, okay? And when that increases, you can also see other amazing things. So that's a Rangluk, right?
Right, which, by the way, he is using in response to the... So he's doing that work that we're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. So here it is down here.
Who's this?
Who is this?
This is on the Pramanavartika.
A very good commentary to the Pramanavartika. Modest guy. By the way, here's Bokjin, unusual. Well, it kind of goes here, okay?
Okay.
Jita Shirab Sokpe Lonam La Yang Ne Yang Duhapagyur. Just how is it that wisdom and other such mental states can undergo constant improvement?
Yeah.
Okay, just how is that? And the answer is in the verse that starts with Sewa La Sok.
Okay.
Okay, so he's saying, is that how our verse started, our line? That we're on right now?
Shut up, stay away. Started.
Oh, okay. Therefore, they will increase constantly. That's the point. It doesn't help much.
No.
Let's do it next time.
Okay, the retext is still what we've got.
Yeah, so I'm going to say stopped here 9:20. This is the least progress we ever made. That's a record, I think. Yay!
I'll tell you, frankly, it's worth
Zero improvement.
I need you to go back and look at that.
Oh, it's worse than that.
We actually made new work for ourselves today.
Okay.
Sashi
Puki Joshing Meton Cham Rila Lingshin Ninde Gembadi Sanye Shindu Nite Uwargi Jokun Namda Shingla Juparsho Inam Guru Radha Mandala Kanye Atayami Di Gewokun Sanam Yeshe Zozo Shing Sanam Yeshe Le Chungwe Damba Kuni Topasho. Do this one over also.